Together, let's embark on a scientific exploration of yoga, where you are the scientist, your heart is the laboratory, and you are the outcome. Welcome to Meditate with Daji. This week we will continue to put questions to Daji. We have been receiving lots of questions from the viewers, and we have attempted to put similar questions together and put them in front of Daji. Let's all try and make use of the wisdom and guidance of Daji as he answers these very common questions that come to all of us. So let's start the question-answer session, and after that, like always, we will meditate with Daji. The first question for Daji is, it is said that our intentions precede our thoughts. Are these intentions related then to our samskaras? How can one modify one's intentions?
There is a beautiful book by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, and he describes on how the results of our actions, when they are favorable, we become happy, and when they are not so favorable, we become sad. So the happiness and sadness depends on the results, and the results depends on how our actions were performed. If something goes wrong and doesn't go as per your wish, then the results will be bad because you didn't perform well. And what precedes action is a good plan, good thinking, good contemplation behind the action. And behind the thought, as we understand, what propels these intentions are the samskaras. You have concluded it very correctly that it is the samskaras that drives the intentions, and intentions drives the thoughts, and thoughts drives the actions, and actions drives the results. And results makes us either happy or sad. Now, when we combine all these things, then it is imperative that in order to change our intentions and become more simpler with our intentions and become more simpler and purer with our intention, then we'll have to unload our samskaras to a large extent, you see. Samskaras are the culprits. They spoil our intentions. Based on our pravrittis, whatever we are doing, we create our own prakriti. And based on that prakriti, we create our prarabdha. So pravritti or your activity reinforces your character. That becomes a bedrock of your thinking process, of your intentions and all that. With the help of transmission and with the help of yogic cleaning under Sahaj Marg, we are able to remove the samskaras, we are able to remove a lot of misunderstandings, we are able to bring about new level of understanding and clarity in thinking. So, your intentions may become bad at some point, but before executing, if you meditate well and clean well, you will not be able to go ahead with your action because your conscience will not permit you to do that. So that is how Sahaj Marg helps us in doing what is right. You may have bad intentions to start with, it's okay, but when you meditate, it will protect you and it will not allow the bad intention to flourish.
The second question for Daji is, Daji, please help us understand parallelism in nature as mentioned in Sahaj Marg philosophy.
Well, it is very well written by Babuji Maharaj. If you read that chapter well, then I will not have to explain to you. But what is in Brahma, what is outside in this Vishwa, it's also within you. What is in the macrocosm is also in the microcosm. You see, these are all theoretical things to understand, and it's not just theoretical, but it is how it is. Also, not only the parallelism in nature, within us also there is a reverse parallelism, which Babuji addresses it as invertendo. This is against the parallelism. So it all changes from time to time. But what should remain permanent with us, within us, this fundamental thing, the core of our being, the canvas of our existence, should be filled with love and longing for the goal. Other things, whether they are invertendo or whether they are parallel or whether they are in synchronicity, it really does not matter. Once you have committed, commitment is something greater than marriage. And once you understand the value of this commitment towards yourself, it really doesn't matter whether you are parallel to the nature's working or in invertendo phase or not in sync at all. It really doesn't matter. What matters is our love for God. And I highly recommend you read Babuji Maharaj's work on parallelism in nature. It's a very well written chapter, and I don't think anyone can describe that better than that. But for myself, as I told you, I don't worry too much about parallelism or the reverse trend of invertendo that really happens in our sadhana, or synchronicity or osmosis with the ultimate. What matters again and again, I keep repeating, is this: our love and longing, craving for the ultimate. Somehow, even if you don't have it, create it artificially. Cry a few times, even artificial tears will help. It will make it real, it will become real one day.
The third question to Daji is humility innate in human nature, or does it have something to do with our sanskaras?
Humility is a product of ego. And if you say, does ego really exist? Ego is like a shadow of your existence. On its own, it doesn't have its own existence. Ego has many faces. For example, when you are, as Babuji would put it, when you are a doctor and you say you are a doctor, it's a statement of fact. There is no ego about it. When you are a flutist and you are playing your music so well, today you perform so well. Next day when you will be performing, you will one day think, oh, I should be performing better than yesterday. So this level of ego helps you to surpass your abilities. But to think that you are the best in the entire Kerala, no one is better than you, then that is arrogance. So ego has many faces. Samskaras filters that. It gives you the different perspective. When you have so much of love, when you are contributing everything, the results of your action to the Lord, that itself is a great humility. When we use the third line of our prayer, Thou art the only God and power, to bring us up to that stage, it's a beautiful statement. We become so helpless with humility that, my Lord, without your intervention, without your help, I cannot achieve the goal. I need your help. So that vacuum has to be created, that lowliness in your heart, that humility, sense of insignificance. And I love the statement of Babuji Maharaj where he says, there is nothing wrong thinking yourself to be great. Remember this. There is nothing wrong in thinking yourself to be great. But always think the other person is greater. Then there are no problems.
The next question for Daji is, what are the illusions and hallucinations that we may encounter on the spiritual journey? And how can we overcome them?
Then I had to really work on you harder. Man with illusion and hallucinations cannot progress on the path of spirituality. One has to become realistic with the problems of life and also the joys and sorrows of life. They are real. Don't think them to be Maya. People think, oh, it's all Maya and I should not be doing all these things. Then you are wrong. People say, is this Maya? Why should I worry about all this Maya business? Then why are you asking this question? Who is asking this question? Maya asking how to solve Maya? It's not going to happen. So when one has illusion of what? Hallucinations of what? One has to be clear. But the person under illusion has no clarity whatsoever. You see? And a person who has illusion also cannot ask these questions. He won't have the ability to ask questions on illusion or hallucinations.
Now, let's all meditate with Daji.
You all know how to meditate, and perhaps some of you do not really know how to meditate in joining us for the first time. This is how we meditate. Artfulness way of meditation. It's very simple. Feel relaxed. Remove all the distractions if you might have. Something like phones. And focus on the presence of divine light in our heart. Think that this divine light is attracting your attention inward. And retain this thought as long as you can. If by chance you happen to move away from this noble idea, when you're overwhelmed by so many thoughts, just remind yourself that right now I am meditating on the presence of divine light. That's all. Please make a note of how you felt. Let's write our observations.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Meditate with Daji. See you again next week.